You have to calculate current. 100T plus 0, 200 EMF by 400, 0.5. A rectangular coil of 20 turns and area of cross section has a resistance of 100 ohm if a magnetic field which is perpendicular to the plane of the coil changes at rate of 1000 Tesla per second. The current in the coil is flux EMF is equal to minus d phi by dt. (20) B 25 50 by resistance 0.5. As a result of change in magnetic flux linked to the closed loop, an EMF V is induced in the loop. The work done in taking a charge Q coulomb once along the loop is QV. A coil of area 0.04 meter square having 1000 turns is suspended perpendicularly in a magnetic field of 5 into 10 power minus 5. It is rotated through theta is equal to 90 degree in time 0.2 seconds. Calculate the average EMF induced in it. Average EMF minus d phi by dt. NBA cos theta N B A cos 90 is perpendicular already at 90 degree and it is rotated from 90 to 180 degree. Cos 90 is 0, 180 is 1 into t. यहाँ 2 5 are 10, 0.01. A 100-turn coil effective area is kept perpendicular to a magnetic field of 5 into 10 power minus 5. When the plane of the coil is rotated by 90 degree, it is around any of its coplanar axis in 0.1 seconds. The EMF induced on the coil will be NBA NB A cos theta into T 25 into 10 power minus 4. The EMF induced in the coil is number of coils. There are 800 turns, not 100, 800. 200 into 0.02 होना चाहिए था किसी तरह. A magnetic field of 2 into 10 power minus 2 acts at right angles to a coil of area 100 power minus 4 with 50 turns. The average EMF induced in the coil is 0.1. When it is removed from the field in time t, the value of t is when it is removed from the field in time t, the value of t is it is removed from the coil, the value of t is N B A T is equal to 3 कितना रह गया 0.1. A conducting circular loop in a uniform magnetic field such that its plane is perpendicular to field having strength 0.5 Tesla if the radius of the coil decreases steadily at the rate of 10 power minus 2. What will be the magnitude of N when the radius of coil is? अरे ये पता है 7 centimeter into 10 power minus 2. It is 2 pi r b r dr by dt. EMF flux BA. I think this is flux. If radius of the coil, what will be the magnitude of induced EMF? By time भी तो है 2 into pi 22 by 7 into radius 7 by 100 into 5 by 10 into 10 by 100. 5 2s are 10. 2.2 into 10 power minus 3. A conducting circular loop is placed in uniform magnetic field with its plane perpendicular to the loop. The radius of the loop is made to shrink at a constant rate of the induced EMF of radius is induced EMF when radius is 2 centimeter is पता क्या आएगा E 2 pi the concept 2 pi r two by 100 into 2 pi r into b dr by dt. It's too much. 25 for the 100. That's it. Pi microvolt. The conducting circular loop is placed in a uniform magnetic field of 4 by 100 with its plane perpendicular. The radius of the loop starts shrinking at b 2 pi r 2 2s are 4 2s are 8 2 2s are 4 2s are 8 4s are 32 into pi into 10 power 1 2 3 4 5 6 micro 3.25 micro. A small coil is introduced between the poles of an electromagnet so that its axis coincides with the magnetic field. A small coil is introduced between the poles of an electromagnet so that its axis coincides with the magnetic field direction. The number of turns is n. Cross-sectional area is A when the coil turns through 180 degree about its diameter. उल्टी हुई ना? The charge flowing through the coil is Q. The total resistance of the circuit is R. What is the magnitude of magnetic induction? You mean magnetic field? Magnetic field इतना आ जाएगा. Flux is equal to BA cos 180 cos 0 is 1 cos it is minus 1 Q R B A Q R by A N B A N भी नीचे आएगा Q R by cos 0 is minus 1 2 Na. The total charge induced in a conducting loop when it is moved in magnetic field depends on the total charge induced in a conducting loop The total charge induced in a conducting loop when it is moved in magnetic field depends on the rate of change of magnetic flux. Initial magnetic flux only, the total change in magnetic flux. Final magnetic flux only, total change in magnetic flux. The magnetic flux through a circuit of resistance R changes by an amount delta phi in a time delta t. Then the total quantity of charge Q that passes any point in the circuit during the time delta t is represented by a long solenoid of diameter has 2 into 10 power 4 turns per meter. At the center of the solenoid, a coil of 100 turns and radius is placed with its axis coinciding with the solenoid axis. The current in the solenoid reduces at a constant rate to 0 ampere to 4 ampere in time 0.05 seconds. If the resistance of the coil, the total charge flowing through the coil during this time is Q is equal to delta phi by R. Final flux minus initial flux divided by R. A long solenoid of diameter. Final flux is 4 ampere. N into mu Ni into pi r square mu naught Nni pi r square, and flux final is 0 rate to 0 ampere from 4 ampere. It goes from 4 ampere to 0 ampere. The second flux will be 0. So Q is equal to four, 5, 6. 2 4s are 8. (32 microcoulombs). Huh? I didn't try current, right? Current is 4. If a coil of resistance 100 ohms, so I got 2 questions, right? 2 question मिले ना, एक ये वाला है और एक ये वाला है ना? 2 क्वेश्चन मिले, और क्या था? As a result of change, ये भी important है क्योंकि theory वाला है. In a coil of resistance 100 ohms, a current is induced by changing the magnetic flux through it. As shown, the magnitude of change in flux through the coil is magnitude of change in flux. Current or time. IDT. 100 into half into base into height. $250. In a coil of resistance 10 ohms, the induced current developed by changing magnetic flux In a coil of resistance 10 ohms, the induced current developed by changing magnetic flux through it. As shown in the function of time, the magnitude of change in flux through the coil in Weber is half 10 into half into base into height. Though an electron moves along a straight path. An electron moves along a straight path xy as shown. The ABCD in the coil adjacent to the path of electric field. What will be the direction of current if any induced in the coil? पहले दूर है फिर उसके बाद ये अंदर है ठीक है. Firstly, the current will reverse its direction as the electron goes past the coil. For a freely dropped magnet, state if acceleration A of the magnet will be less than g. For freely dropped magnet, state if acceleration of magnet, again it will be less than g. A metal ring is held horizontally and bar magnet is dropped through the ring with its length along the axis of the ring. The acceleration of falling magnet is less than g. Figure shows in coil placed in magnetic field decreasing at a rate of 10 dB by dt is 10. There is also a source of EMF which is 30 volt in the coil. Find the magnitude and direction of the current in the coil. Find the Ara. Still I got it right? Like ठीक है. This is 30 volt. Its area is 2 meter square and its resistance is 5 ohms. Then we have a wire. इसमें करंट ऐसे जा रहा है. इसकी EMF निकाल लो. D phi PA. EMF is equal to minus d phi by dt. थर्टी इस तरफ को है, 30 इस तरफ को है और 20 इस तरफ को है. कितना आ गया इस तरफ को? 10 रह गया अकेला. EMF 10 which is towards this side. Find the magnitude and direction of the current. Direction of the current is clockwise and EMF is 10. Current is equal to E by R. 10 by 5, that is 2. A circular coil whose area is 300 centimeters square and n turns 25 rotates about its vertical diameter with an angular speed of 40 per second in a uniform horizontal magnetic field 0.05 Tesla. Obtain the maximum voltage induced in the coil. NBA omega. 300 centimeter square. $25 4 100. 10 रह गया. 15 1.5. A wire loop is rotated in a magnetic field. The frequency of change of direction of the induced EMF is twice. Find the current in 5 ohm resistor. Find the current in 5 ohm resistor. अच्छा. Wait. Velocity. So resistor is 5 ohms. You have to calculate current. Okay. Length is 25 centimeter. .4. F is equal to BIL Q B V. Okay, what about BVL? EMF is equal to BVL, which is equal to R, right? 4 by 10, 5 meters per second into length 25 by 100, 0.5. EMF is 0.5 by R, 0.1. Sorry. ऊपर को S to R. It says what? R to S. Palm faces upward. So what did we calculate? Current R to S. Current will flow R to S. Acha. The EMF was 0.5. A straight line conductor of length is moved with a speed of 7 meters per second perpendicular to magnetic field of intensity 0.9 Weber per meter square. The induced EMF across the conductor is V 9 7s are 2.52. Find the induced EMF. $60. B L V cross sin 60 cos 60 beta cos 60 1 by 2 BVL cos 60. A conductor ABOCD moves along its bisector with a velocity of 1 meters per second through a perpendicular magnetic field of 1. If all 4 sides are of length 1 meter, then the induced EMF between point A and D is, we need to calculate this length. इसको ऐसे कर लो, इसको ऐसे कर लो. ये 90, ये कितना है? मतलब ये 90, 45, 90. What is this length? This is 1. Sin 45 is equal to L1 by 1. So So L1 is equal to, L1 कितना है, 1/√2. Again L2 is also 1/√2. So L1 plus L2 is equal to 2/√2, which comes out to be √2. This length is √2. BLV, velocity we have. If all the four sides of length each are B, L, V, 1.414. Find the induced EMF. इस तरह ज़्यादा आएगा. B, how much is the length? Two R B, L, V. Thin semicircular conducting ring PQR of radius R is falling with its plane vertical in a horizontal magnetic field. The potential difference developed across the ring when its speed V is two BRV, and R is at higher potential. Find the induced EMF theta. Sin theta by 2. 2 sin theta. 2 BVL sin theta by 2. 2 times आ गया ना. A rectangular, a square, wait. A rectangular, a square, a circular, and an elliptical loop are moving out of the uniform magnetic field with a constant velocity v in velocity. Magnetic field directed along the negative z axis. The induced EMF during the passage of these loops out of the field will not remain constant for constant इसके लिए constant नहीं होगी for circular and elliptical loops. A conducting square frame of side A and a long straight wire carrying current I are located in the same plane. Square and a long current I. The frame moves to the right with a constant velocity v. The EMF induced in the frame will be proportional to magnetic field. This is first. This is x minus BVA, E2 is equal to BVA. First EMF is equal to magnetic field B with velocity V into distance is x minus A. E2 is equal to B V. Distance is x. x plus a by 2. Magnetic field is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi two I x minus a by 2 mu naught upon 4 pi 2I x plus a by 2. The conducting rod of length L and resistance R, small r, slides at a constant velocity v on two parallel conducting rails in a uniform magnetic field perpendicular to the plane of rails. A resistance R is connected between two ends of the rail. Find induced EMF in the rod. BLV. Current in resistance. Force required to move the rod with constant velocity. Power input. Power output in both resistors. I square R plus R. As shown, a metal rod makes contact and complete the circuit. The circuit is perpendicular to magnetic field. If the resistance is 3 ohms, force needed to move the rod as indicated with a constant speed of 2 meters per second is resistance, the force needed to move the rod. EMF is equal to B L. Rod is 50 centimeter. B L V 5 2s are 10. 0.15 EMF by, if the resistance is 3 ohm, force needed to move at a current is equal to E by R, 15 by 100, E by R, 3 5 0.05, B I L 3 centimeter. (3.7 into 10 power minus 3 Newton). AB is a conducting rod of length L. C is the midpoint of AB. Find VB minus VC. लेंथ टेल बी कितनी है एल और वेलोसिटी कितनी है वी सी इक्वल टू ओमेगा आर for a rod, BL square omega by 2 BL square omega by 2 BL square omega by 2 is equal to 1 minus 1 by 4. Comes out to be 3 by 4 B omega L square. We have to calculate, find VB minus VC. VC is at high potential. VC is at high potential, then B minus answer here. A metal disc of radius R rotates with a constant angular velocity of 160 radian per second about its axis. Find the potential difference between the center and the rim of the disc if the external magnetic field is 5 × 10 power minus 3 Tesla and rim of the disc if the external uniform magnetic field is directed perpendicular to the disc. A metal disc of radius r rotates with a constant angular velocity omega about its axis. Find the potential difference between center and the rim of the disc if external uniform magnetic field is directed perpendicular to the disc. At that point is 0 and that point is r. B L square omega by 2. L square, which is r square omega by 2, 625. So 25 into 8 is 200. So 5 2s are 10. 0.025. A cycle wheel of radius 0.5 meter is rotated with constant angular velocity of 10 in a region of magnetic field 0.1, which is perpendicular to the plane of the wheel. The EMF generated between its center and the rim is P L square omega the current in self-inductance SI is to be increased uniformly from 1 ampere to 11 ampere in time 4 × 10 power minus 3 millisecond. The EMF induced in inductor during process is EMF is equal to L 10 by 100. What is the self-inductance of a coil which produces 5 volt when the current changes from 3 to 2 in 1 millisecond? EMF 5 into I नीचे 1. That's it. 5 millihenry. For a coil having 2 millihenry current flowing through it is T square e to the power minus T. Then time at which EMF becomes 0 is टी स्क्वायर ए टू दी पावर माइनस टी की डिफ्रेंसिएशन कितनी है प्लस e टू दी पावर माइनस टी 2t. This is equal to 0. T square e to the power minus t plus 2t e to the power minus t to the power minus t. T square plus 2t या तो e to the power minus t 0 होएगा या t square plus 2t 0 होएगा at time when t is 0. When t is 0 EMF it turns out to be 1. So t की वैल्यू क्यों नहीं चाहिए है e raised to the power what infinity e raised to the power infinity EMF comes out to be 0. Then we have